It's 8 o'clock and, well, this is Morning Express. We are still looking and reviewing the week that has been, politically speaking, and we'll open up the phone lines in just a bit to give you an opportunity to have your say. Before we wind up this particular segment of the show, we have Tinda Mwale, Member of Parliament for Butere. We have Julius Meli, who is the Member of Parliament for Tinderet, and Sorab Mishra, Member of Parliament for Keses, in studio this morning. But before we carry on, the question that we were asking is whether we are really going to have the elections in 26 days. IEBC has already, stated and given a date, which is the 26th of October. And according to the Constitution, we have to have the elections before 60 days after the ruling of the Supreme Court. Well, NASA has been out to say that there's going to be no election unless the irreducible minimums are met. Jubilee, on the other hand, have said that it is NASA that is not prepared for the elections. Let's listen into what both sides of the divide have had to say so far.
There shall be an election of the president on 26th of October. I've heard our colleagues say there shall be no elections. I want to tell them in no uncertain terms, we are prepared. We are properly prepared as Jubilee for even a situation where they will not participate in the elections, or where they will want to cause violence so that the election cannot take place, or where they want to go to court to stop the elections from taking place. We are prepared for all the scenarios.
And that's what Senator Murkomen had to say. The phone lines are now open. Do let us know what your thoughts are. But let me come to you, Waheshimiwas, and let me start with you, Mwale. NASA is being accused of not being prepared for the elections. Your comments to that and the irreducible minimums, which are non-negotiable. But looking at them, some of them are not attainable before we get to the election.
NASA, we are ready for the election, but we want some of the law and some of the things changed in the IBC. But we are ready. It's not that we are not ready. We are ready. But unless we get those irreducibles done, then we won't go for the election.
Do you sincerely see ourselves going to an election on the 26th? Kenyans are sitting there and wondering, are we going? When we listen to our leaders, and you're part of those leaders, legislators who are voted in to represent Kenya, do you sincerely see ourselves going for the election on the 26th?
On the part of NASA, if the election amendment law is passed and the irreducibles are not met, then we want to go for the election. That's the direction that NASA has taken.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me come to you, Mishra.
Thank you. Now, the terms and conditions is not to NASA, according to NASA or according to Jubilee. It should be according to the Constitution, number one. Number two, we work very carefully in the limitation of the Constitution and law. Now, that's the reason we are amending the laws to make a healthy, smooth, effective, correct election. Same thing they are saying, but in another term, and they want to oppose because I don't know what. But
if
however,
it's the same thing, then why not just sit down, agree, and let's have these amendments done. Let's go to the polls on the 26th.
We are always ready. They are never found in Parliament. The two people come after 2 minutes and go away. And then, let me tell you another thing. Another thing I'll tell you. The removal of IBC officers. You cannot remove everybody as per your whim. Let me tell you, as a doctor, if there is an ulcer or a wound here, you don't cut the finger. You treat the finger. Am I correct? Who is a good doctor? Who chopped the finger always, of all the people, or you treat and heal the wound?
All right, Honorable Meli.
Yes, I concur with my colleague, Honorable Misa, that you believe we are ready for elections. And I think these elections might be held to avoid holding the country hostage. And I want to tell NASA, you must come out very clear what you want. It is not about power through the back door. First of all, when you look at what NASA are talking about, they are not even ready for negotiations. They have been coming to Parliament for two seconds. And in fact, when earlier on they were saying they are loyal to their people. In fact, Honorable Mwale, your colleagues are not loyal because they are not having allegiance to the people. Because they are just coming in for 2 seconds, they just go to hotels, they just go and make discussions, and they just give us irreducible minimum. When you talk about irreducible minimum, is it as per the Constitution? Is it as per the law? Is it for the good of this country? Two, when you look at IBC officials, the NASA leader has almost abrogated himself the position of IBC chair. That's what we were telling Chebukati. He should stand up to be the chair. Not Raila saying, remove this, we want this to be done, we want this to be done. Then who is the referee? The candidate has already turned himself into a referee, and he wants to play ball again. We are saying, let IBC run smoothly, let the elections be followed. Issues that we are amending is for the efficiency, for the management, and for the smooth running of this country. Right now, we have issues even in schools. Apart from the economy, our children are affected psychologically just because of these elections. Everyone is affected. We want to heal this once and for all. And let me tell you, we must have these elections on 26th.
Let's hear what Kenyans have to say. Let me take a call from Alex in Kitale. Good morning, Alex, to your call or comment. Alex?
Hello, Mr. Ben.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, go right ahead.
Let me first comment on the panel. I thank the panel. Second, I want to comment about the election bill which the Jubilee members have put in the parliament.
Okay.
That bill is not what Kenyans elected the Jubilee Parliament to go in the Parliament to do. I don't know why the Jubilee MPs are going in the Parliament to amend those laws in the last hour, in the last minute.
Mm-hmm.
Kenyans are watching them, and Kenyans will teach them a lesson. We are out here, and we need to vote and vote out the Jubilee regime to put in place a regime which can work for Kenyans, which cannot go only to amend laws for their own sycophants. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Let's take a call from Said in Mombasa. Good morning, Said.
Hello, this is Said from Mombasa.
Yes, go right ahead.
I'm speaking from Mombasa County.
Mm-hmm.
And my comment is why the Jubilee? Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Why the Jubilee trying to force the IEBC lead chair to be there, or they don't want to be taken out because they have done a very bad job in August 8th. So in NASA team they say we want to clean the Jubilee, we want to clean the IEBC. Why the Jubilee are not agree with this? They should sit together and clean the IEBC. This election to be taken in October 16th, very easy. Why are they arguing with this thing? I'm so worried about why the Jubilee are arguing about cleaning the IEBC. That's to die now. Our business is finished. We are going to pay the school fees in January, and we have nothing. There is no business.
All right.
So what we want from the Jubilee and NASA, sit together, the leaders, the Uhuru Kenyatta, the Raila Odinga, sit together and clean the IEBC, go to the election. Why are they to clean the IEBC?
All right,
I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. This the parliament yesterday, what they've done, from 14 days to 1 day. This wametumaliza. They finish us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Said in Mombasa. Let's take a call from Nairobi. Good morning, straight to your question or comment.
Yes, good morning, Morning Express. I'm Victor from Nairobi.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I would like to remind Kenyans that this is not the first time we are having this kind of discussion in Parliament to force a manual, or rather, call it manual elections. There was a time, if you can remember, Jubilee passed an amendment in the House before elections, that is, to force this kind of manual elections, and they passed it amid chaos that was in Parliament. You see, if we take our country into this path, I don't think if we are going to be heading the right direction. This is not the first time Jubilee is passing amendments that can favor them. We can remember the media bill that they passed after the Westgate trip We can remember what they passed. We can, now they are in election laws, and very soon they haven't promised to pass, to present a bill on judiciary, to cripple judiciary. If we continue to cripple our independent institutions like this, honestly, which kind of a country? You know, Kenya is an example in Africa, and it is not right for us to take our country the same way as the part of Rwanda, the part of Uganda, the part of Zimbabwe. That's exactly what Jubilee is trying to do. We should not allow this to happen in our country. We should not be passing to allow this to be an action that can easily send a person to jail for doing his job. Okay, let's talk about this media bill, this election law.
Amendment.
They are
All right.
saying, the election amendment, they are saying that if a returning officer that has not signed the form, he or she can be taken to jail. Have we ever asked these returning officers who did not sign this the reason why they did not sign them? Have we? We haven't. But now we are rushing to amend, to enact. They don't need a bill that can send them to jail. Why do you want to cripple the powers of the chairman of the IBC? That's the question.
All right. Thank you very much for your call. And before we wind up, we'll just wind this up very shortly. But maybe for the benefit, because this has come up severally from the calls, and I'll task you to possibly explain to our callers why the urgency, why must it be done now? Maybe it could be a good amendment, but for the sake of goodwill, for the sake of having these elections handled in a manner that all and sundry are satisfied, that includes NASA, why have it urgently passed now? Malik.
Yes. I want to say that if you look at the 2007 elections, we had a crisis in this country. And we had leaders who came, sat down, and proposed amendments or changes to the electoral process, which brought us to 2013 elections, which are very successful. We are now in another crisis again. And for us to get out of this crisis, there are certain issues that are raised by the competitors. NASA raised issues, the Supreme Court raised issues, and we are saying, for us to have an efficient, a more managed electoral system, let us be very clear on how the votes are being transmitted from the voter all the way to the tallying center. And we want to secure this. And in fact, the Supreme Court talked about the process. We want a very clear, efficient process. And that's what the law is addressing. Two, we are not reducing the powers of Chebukati. And I think this needs to be understood. That we are only saying, in the event that the chairman is not there, the vice chair takes all the powers. And in the event the vice chair is not there, one of the commissioners is supposed to come in. Let's take the example of other democracies like India. India has a population of almost 800 million voters, and they have only 3 commissioners, and they are running the elections very well. So I don't know the hue and cry here, because our mandate as elected leaders and as a nation is to finish this crisis as fast as possible before it is eating the whole country. And the only solution is good elections, good laws.
Let me ask you a question. We have 26 days to the ballot.
Yes.
By the time the election amendment bill is enacted in Parliament, will IEBC have the to prepare to accommodate the changes?
In fact, the elections doesn't affect the framework of IEBC. It doesn't. When you talk about the powers conferred on the vice chair is there. When you talk about in the event the vice chair is not there, the members are there. We are not talking about removing the chairman. We are not talking about anything. We are just strengthening the powers of the IBC chair, who is the national returning officer, to ensure that the officers who don't do well, and I think you remember they gave issues of Nyali and some constituencies in Mombasa, where the returning officers intentionally didn't do well. So this one, we want to seal that loophole once and for all.
All right,
so where's the problem?
Let me pose the same question to Mheshimiwa Mwale. With the demands that NASA is making today, marks the beginning of Friday and Monday protests to have IEBC officials, certain IEBC officials removed from office. And you've asked a question whether IEBC is going to be ready. In your opinion, as NASA is demanding those changes, is IEBC also going to be ready?
Yeah, our demands, IEBC can be ready even in 10 days if it adheres to our demands. Because our demands, what we want is the staff that bundled the last election, that committed some irregularities. We want to remove them. Because according to the Supreme Court ruling, we have some officials in IEBC that committed the offenses that led to the nullification of the election. So we are not demanding too much. It's just some one or two things to be done. Then we are ready. But we are ready for the election, but when the irreducible minimums have been attained. Then secondly, when you look at the Constitution, Article 138, states clearly that we shall have, in a case where we have 2 or more candidates, then an election will be held in 290 constituencies. And that one is what NASA we are standing for. We don't want this other story of amending the law in the middle of the game. Because if Jubilee argues that Uhuru won with the law that is there, why do you want to amend so that he wins on the second round? It shows that there are some things that they are hiding below the table. Once they change those things, then they are able again to rig the election the second time.
All right. I want to come to your closing comments, but I'll read some of what is coming through via Twitter. Then I'll come and we all wrap up with your closing comments. We have Semakweli, who says, KANU is a party that kept our country as an island of peace in a sea of chaos in the region. Stop the phobic reasoning. All right. We have Ongere Dave as one name. He says, can't believe up to this time, the era we can talk about manual tallying and transmission is the safeguarding of our future elections. We have Dr. Kakai Kulabusia, who says the Supreme Court indicated that the first respondent didn't follow the law in conducting the election. And we have Truth Till the End, who says, why aren't you giving Mr. Mwele time to argue? This shows how partisan you are. 2 Jubilee's MPs against 1. And just to let you know, we did have Esther Passaris invited. She did confirm she was coming, but she did not make it. So it is not our fault that we have 2 panelists who are allied to Jubilee and 1 to NASA. That is beyond our control. Neno here says Ruto equals Youth for KANU plus never supported the Constitution. Uhuru equals Moi Project. Jubilee Party, please tell us you are not implementing KANU agenda. And now that I've been accused of not giving Mheshimiwa Mwale time, let me start with you with closing comments. Yeah. Sir.
The Supreme Court ruled that the first respondent, being the IEBC, should conduct a fresh election with strict adherence to the Constitution. And that one being the basis on which we are going back to the re-election, to a fresh election. We in NASA, we want the IEBC to stick to the Constitution. The issue of telling us that we are going back to the manual, the Kriegler Commission stated clearly that elections shall be purely electronic. And that's where we are. We cannot again go back to the era that Kenyans were being played to. We want credible elections. If the Jubilee side believes that Uhuru won, which he didn't, then they should come under the same rules and the same playground, and we beat them down on the 26th.
All right. Mishra, your closing comments?
By the grace of God, the God gives wisdom to all our Kenyans, ourselves, so that we go for free, fair election come 26th October with amended laws, which we are doing, without any bias, but for everything constitutional according to the Republic of Kenya. By the grace of God, these followings will happen. Number 1, Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta and Excellency William Ruto will win with 75% vote. Number 2, Excellency William Ruto, Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta will be the father of democracy after this whole of Africa. They set a world famous example. Number 3, more international funding will come and our country will be empowered. Number 4, international, regional, national, local investors will be encouraged. Number 5, no mass action, no violence. Many misguided people will go away from Kenyan politics. Thank you.
Your closing comments, sir.
Yes, first of all, I want to urge NASA to come to the table and be true to what the Supreme Court said, that let IEBC conduct elections. It's not about sideshows. We want these elections like yesterday. These elections has destabilized our nation. And I want to urge the NASA leaders, move out for campaigns. That is why you'll see Uhuru is in Kakamega, he's in all of Western Kenya, and we have done very well. And we want elections. That's why we have a majority of members of parliament. We have members in Bungoma, which we didn't have in 2013. We have members in Kakamega. We have in all over the country. In fact, Jubilee is a national party. 2, we want the economy to grow as fast as possible. And I want to urge NASA to stop street protests. This is not a nation where we are going to have protests from Monday to Friday. We want our people to go to work. We want industries to run. We want the schools to move. We want our nation to be peaceful. So it is not about street protest. And it's not about arm twisting. If NASA, the way my friend is saying, won, why are you having very less senators? Why are you having less governors? Why are you having less members of parliament? Why are you having less MCAs? It is because we won these elections, we beat your hands down, and on 26th, these laws that we are passing is for the good of this nation. And it's not for, no, we are not passing for Uhuru or Ruto. We are passing for Kenyans, so that this country stabilizes and we move on.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. We'll have to wind it up right there. It's 21 minutes after 8. Thank you very much, Julius Meli, Member of Parliament for Tinderet. We also have Sorab Mishra, who's Member of Parliament for Keses. And last but not least, Tinda Mwale, Member of Parliament for Butere. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us this morning to give us a summary of what's been happening. It's now 22 minutes after 8. We're going to take a short break, but do stay with us. We've got more news making headlines both locally and internationally lined up for you before we wind up Morning Express. We'll be right back.
This is KTN News.